All right, good morning, class. So I'm gonna have you guys go to page 61. Just want to let you guys know we're gonna do some stuff today that will help you guys get prepared for your quiz that's gonna be on Thursday. You guys gonna be doing that quiz in class on Thursday on Go Formative, and it's important that you guys do it during that time period. If you don't do it during that time period, I cannot give you points for that. Unless you're absent that day, just shoot me an email. We could figure something out. But so we're on page 61. We're here continuing kind of what we did yesterday. Looking at this word problem. It says Jamal is completing a math problem. It represents the expression negative 5 and 5/7 plus 8 minus 3 and 2/7 with a single rational number. As shown in steps below. Justify each of Jamal's steps. Then show another way to solve the problem. So remember here it says he's writing this expression as a single rational number. That basically means he has this problem here and he just gets the answer down there. What we got to do is we just got to pretty much write down what did he do in each step. Now it says here, it says show another way. Don't worry about that. Alright, so this was a problem. I want you guys to think about what did he do to get from there to there. So think about that for a little bit. What's the only thing different from the original problem to what he wrote? You see how in the original problem it was minus 3 and 2/7, right? Down here it's plus negative 3 and 2/7. So he rewrote, just like I have you guys do a lot, rewrite. He rewrote subtraction as adding what? As adding the what? The opposite, right? So I'd like you guys to rewrite your subtraction as adding the opposite. So there, subtracting 3 and 2/7 is the same as adding negative 3 and 2/7. Next, the only thing different from there to there is he moved some of the numbers around, right? It's all the same numbers, but he just kind of he moved the numbers around. I'll put a hashtag means numbers. He moved numbers around. Let's see. Yeah, here, I'll put parentheses from commutative property. That just means that it doesn't matter the way you add the numbers, right? Order the numbers. Next, what did he do? You see how he broke apart the mixed number? So he broke apart the mixed number, right? So he separates a whole number and a fraction. Rather, he broke apart. So he's doing some strategies that broke apart the mixed numbers. He's doing some strategies that will be useful for you guys to do on your quiz. Let's see. Then from there, he did this. Notice from here to here, he kind of did the same thing earlier. He kind of just moved some numbers around, right? You see how originally there's a negative 3 between the two fractions. Next, he just moved those two numbers around so that the two fractions are next to each other. We'll just write commutative property again. And just to let you guys know, your quiz will be open notes because it's kind of, I guess you guys got opportunity to look at your notes to do that. So, yeah. So, FYI. Okay, so then below that, what did he do? Where did that negative 1 come from? Just think about that. Where did that negative 1 come from? Right here, negative 5/7 and negative 2/7 combine to make negative 7/7, right? Which is just negative 1. So right here we see added negative 5/7 and negative 2/7. Then where'd that negative 6 come from? All he did there was add negative 5 and negative 1, right? And lastly, where'd the negative 9 come from? He added the negative 6 and the negative 3. And then lastly, or just say add it. To see how main things is you kind of change the subtraction to adding the opposite. Then you can break apart the mixed numbers to kind of make it a little easier. Then switch some numbers around. You guys don't have to switch numbers around. Sometimes I like to just put the little bracket right here. I don't know if it's called a bracket, but put those there to show that you're adding them. You could just write. You could go from here to here if you want. Just show that that's what you're adding. I want to know where that -1 came from, right? And I'll do a couple more examples to show you guys what that looks like. So make sure you guys finish copying that down, and then let's see. I'm gonna have you guys go to this page, whatever that is. It's lesson 9 problem set, which is page 70. So let's see. Let's pause the video for about actually here. I'll go over one problem. And I'll go over number 3 together because that's a slightly more difficult one, and then I'll have you guys do the other 3 to practice those on your own first. So number 3, I would do these on a separate paper because you guys are gonna need some more space. So I'm gonna have you guys all take out a line paper right now. You can just title it page 70. Right here, we could pause the video for a minute while everyone's getting that out. Alright, so hopefully everyone's got that out. We could pause that again if people are not quite there yet. But here, notice how we have a fraction and we have a decimal here. And a couple fractions in decimal. I want you guys to know that 20.3, let's see, I'm change 20.3 to 20 and 3/10. Hopefully you guys knew that. That's what that was. We'll talk more about decimals and fractions later on, but hopefully you guys got that. So my next step after I do that is, just like in the other problem, you see how there's a subtraction? We're going to change the subtraction so that it's adding the opposite, right? And remember how when we see that 2 subtractions or 2 negatives and the parentheses, you kind of make it like it's a plus sign, right? So I got 1/5 plus 20 and 3/10 plus 5 3/5. Remember, subtracting -5 3/5 is the same as adding 5 3/5, or adding positive 5 3/5. So here, let's see. Some of you guys can break it apart. You don't have to do that. Right here, I could combine these two. See how in the other example I was talking about how I could draw those 2 lines to show what I'm adding. 5 3/5 plus 1/5 makes 5 4/5, right? Then you got 20 and 3/10 there. Right here, you don't have to change it to improper fractions. If you do that, it makes the problem a lot harder. I would just change this to 5 8/10. Because we're adding fractions, we want to get a common denominator. So I'll multiply top and bottom by 2. Here, this problem here, let's do the whole numbers first. 5 and 20 makes 25. I made a typo. I changed that 3/10 to 8, so make sure to change that back. But right here, what's 8/10 and 3/10? It makes 11/10, right? So it does. Make sure you don't write that. 25 and 11/10. You never have a mixed number and an improper fraction together, right? You don't want your numerator to be bigger than your denominator when you have a whole number next to it. So what I could do here is we change that improper fraction to a mixed number 1 and 1/10, right? Plus 25 gets us 26 and 1/10. So I think that was probably the hardest problem there. Let's see. So we could pause the video for about Actually, there's 3 problems. Actually, 4 problems, including the one on the bottom. Let's say about 4 minutes each, maybe approximately. Let's say we can pause the video for about 15 minutes. I want you guys all to be working on 1, 2, 4, and that very bottom problem. I want you guys to do that on your own. Alright, so hopefully you guys are able to do most of that. So here I'm gonna go over real quick, and if I do go over kind of quickly, I don't know, I'm trying to get it all in before class is over. I know it's a Wednesday, but I'll post this video so that you guys can always review it on your own. But here, for the first one, I'll do 80. I'm going to break this apart because it's kind of difficult to work on it together when it's a mixed number like that. I'm going to change it to plus 22 or negative 22. But remember here, the 4/15ths, when you break it apart, is also negative. Key thing there, a lot of people make that mistake. All right. 80 plus negative 22 is 58. Plus negative 4/15. If you guys get to your answer here from straight here, you can. That's good. If not, I'm just going to go over to way make it a little less confusing. I'm going to change that 58 to 57 and 15 over 15. All right, 15 over 15 is 1 whole. Plus this 57 makes 58. Then you got 57, 15, 15 plus negative 4/15 makes 11/15. So that should be the answer for that one. Then I'll do number 2 down here. Actually, I'll do it on the side. Hopefully it fits. Same thing. Same thing. I'll split that apart. Alright, again, key thing there. Some of you guys can kind of look at it and tell the answers, but I highly suggest you guys break it apart there. It makes the problem a lot easier to help you avoid making a mistake. 10 and negative 3 makes 7. Plus negative 3/8. You can see that should be 6 and 5/8 if you weren't sure there. You can break this down to 6 and 8/8 plus negative 3/8. Gets you there also. Give you a second to breathe and breathe that in, all that information into your brains. Alright, then we'll go over number 4 and then 5. So 4 here, 11/12. I'm going to do a couple steps at the same time here because I think you guys are bright and you guys can follow along and keep up. Subtracting negative 10 is the same as adding 10, right? Then I'm going to do plus again, negative 5/6. Well, I guess I kind of just did one thing there. I just changed everything subtraction to addition. Well, not just the addition, but adding the opposite, right? So then subtracting 5/6 is the same as adding negative 5/6. I'm going to change the 5/6, multiply them both by 2, or top by 2, so we can easily add these two together now. I see how, if you want to rewrite it, so you move the numbers around, you can. I don't think that's necessary though. You can draw this little line to show that's what we're adding. 11/12 and negative 10/12 makes 1/12 plus the 10, 10 and 1/12. Right, it's 1/12 because 11 and negative 10 makes positive 1. Alright, again, you want to make sure you ask the question. Maybe someone in the class can answer, or maybe the sub can answer, or you could pause it real quick. You can, but we're going to go over number 5. I know it says to do a bunch of other things here, but we'll just do number 5 just like we did the other 4 problems. Get the answer. So here, instead of minus 3/4, I'm going to do plus and negative 3/4. You'll see why that is important a little bit. The plus, again, we're going to break that apart, right? Negative 12 and negative 1/4. Not positive 1/4, but negative 1/4. And And the reason here, see how I changed this into plus negative 3/4? See how it'll look a little confusing. Like this. If you don't change it to plus negative 3/4 right here, it looks like it's just a regular 3/4, right? It'll make it kind of confusing to add. That's why I like to change everything to adding the opposite. Because this just looks like a 3/4, and you do 3/4 plus negative 1/4 makes 2/4. But that's not a 3/4, right? That's a negative 3/4 because we're subtracting it. Here, go ahead and add those two. Negative 3/4 and negative 4/4 makes negative. Or negative 3/4 plus negative 1/4 makes negative 4/4, which is just negative 1. Right. Remember, when you're adding two negatives, you just basically there we're just doing negative 3 and negative 1 makes negative 4. Negative 4/4, which is negative 1. Right here, 1 and negative 1 cancels out. You get 0 plus negative 12. Right there, you got negative 12 as your answer. Alright, so hopefully that was enough time for you guys to do that. Finish the video. Make sure that homework from yesterday, which was page 69, make sure you guys completed those problems. Quiz will look something like those, and just like what we did today. So that will be your study guide, right? All right, we'll stop there. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everyone.